first chapter or the first unit, that is human reproduction. In our previous classes, we have already discussed about the reproduction, types of reproduction, asexual and sexual type of reproduction, how they differ from each other. All these things are already discussed in our previous classes. So, in human reproduction, humans are sexually reproducing organisms, that is, they can reproduce by sexual method. What do you mean by sexual method? The most important feature of the sexual methods are, number one, there is the involvement of gametes. Gametes or the sex cells. There must be the gonads which are able to produce the gametes. During sexual reproduction, the parents are uniparental. They undergo meiotic division in germinal cells of gonads. So, there is the meiotic division occur in the germinal cells of gonads in sexual reproducing organisms. And the next and important feature of the sexual reproduction is there must be the variation occur due to genetic recombination. So, all these characters starting from the involvement of gametes or the sex cells, involvement of gonads. Gonads means in case of male, that is a pair of testes, and in case of female, a pair of ovaries. Parents, uniparental status, they are also unisexual. Meiotic type of division seen in case of germinal cells to produce the gametes. Variation occur due to the genetic recombination. All these features are seen in case of sexual reproducing organisms, and these are also found in case of human reproduction. So, in case of human reproduction, humans are sexually reproducing organism as well as they are viviparous. They can produce their young ones and they are unisexual. Unisexual means the single individual is going to possess the single sex, that may be either male or female. Next, the fourth one is they show sexual dimorphism. Particularly sexual dimorphism means both the individuals, whether it may be male or female, they are different from each other, both in case of external and physical appearance. They are looks different from each other. That means they have different sexual characters or the sex organs, as well as they produce different sex hormones. If we are talking about the male, they have the sex organs or the gonads, that is testes, and the sex hormone produced by the testes is testosterone. Similarly, in case of female, the gonads or the sex organs are a pair of ovaries, and it is able to produce the sex hormone, that is estrogen and progesterone. So sexually dimorphisms depending upon the type of sex organs or gonads seen in case of two different individuals, that is in case of male and female. They have different sex organ, they are producing different types of sex hormones, and they physically looks different from each other. So in human reproduction, throughout the process of reproductive system, we have to discuss the different phases during this reproductive system. So what are the different phases? Number 1, gametogenesis. Number 2, insemination. Number 3, fertilization. The fourth one is cleavage. Next, implantation. After that, placentation. Gastrulation. Parturition. And another, the most important phase seen in case of human being, that is gestation. So when we are talking about this gametogenesis, we have to know what is gamete. The sex organs or the gonads, both in case of male and female, used to produce the sex cells and the sex hormones. So gametogenesis means the formation of gametes. That means if we are talking about the male having a pair of testes, they produce sperms by the process of spermatogenesis. That means when we are talking about the gametogenesis, depending upon the individuals, the gametogenesis is of two types. One is spermatogenesis and the other one is oogenesis. The formation of sperm or the male sex cells or the male gamete, here this is the male gamete. The formation of male gamete is called spermatogenesis. When we are talking about the male individual, they produce sperms. Here it is the elongated form of the sperm having the tail with the head at the anterior, and the female is going to produce ovum or the egg. Which is oval in structure by the process of Male are going to produce sperm by spermatogenesis and female are going to produce ovum by oogenesis. So, here the basic fundamental things of gametogenesis. First of all, we have to know what is gametes and how they are produced inside in the gonads of the particular individuals. So, gametogenesis is of two types, spermatogenesis and oogenesis, depending upon the individuals. In case of male individual, the sperms are produced by the process of spermatogenesis, and in case of female, by the process of oogenesis, ovum or egg are produced. Now come to the insemination, the second phase of the reproductive system. What is insemination? Sperms, particularly sperms, are swim through a particular fluid released out from the male individuals. That male individual used to produce a particular fluid that is called semen. It's a milky fluid-like structure through which the sperm will able to swim and enter into the female genital tract. So, insemination means the pouring of or the entry of the sperm into the female genital tract. That means by the process of sexual reproduction, when the semen entered into the female reproductive tract, that is called insemination. Entry of sperm into female genital tract during sexual reproduction. Because after that only the fertilization of the two gametes will taking place, because without the entry of the sperm into the female genital tract, we could not able to reach the process of the fertilization, which is going to taking place in the ampulla of the oviduct. So, after the insemination, the next step is fertilization. Fertilization means here the sperms and ovum are ready to fused with itself, and the zygote is produced over here, because the sperms which are produced by the spermatogenesis process, the meiotic division occur there, and by the process of meiotic division, when the sperms are produced from the testes, they are haploid in number. They having haploid number of chromosomes, both the sperm and ovum having n number of chromosome. By the process of fertilization, when both male and female gamete undergoes fusion process, they are able to produce 2n number of chromosome, that is called zygote. The zygote is the result of the fertilization. By the process of fertilization, the diploid zygote is produced from the two haploid gametes, that is two haploid gametes, the sperm and the ovum used to produce the zygote by this fertilization process. And this fertilization is occur at the oviduct. Particular place is ampulla of female oviduct. When we are going to our next further classes, we are talking about the parts of the oviduct, ampulla, where the particular fertilization is going to taking place. So, for fertilization means the fusion of male and female gametes. To produce the zygote. after the fertilization, the zygote will undergoes following divisional phase. This divisional phase are called cleavage. Cleavage is not other than that of the early mitotic division of the zygote to produce different developmental stage of the embryo. That means the zygote is now divided into several stages of the development of the embryo. So here it is the early mitotic division of zygote. If we are talking about the divisional stage of the zygote, that means when after the fertilization, the zygote is a single cell structure. After 24 hours, it will divide into 2 blastomeres. So cleavage starts and divided into 2 blastomeres. During the following stages, they are converted into a number of blastomeres inside it, and that particular stage is called morula. It will take 3 to 4 days for its divisional stage, and after morula it will become particular structure which having the inner cellular mass and the blastocele, the space, and the total structure is called blastula. So all these dividing stages occur in this cleavage. So cleavage is the mitotic division of the zygote. From the early zygote, it will converted into a multicellular. It will converted into multicellular structure, that is, from the zygote it will converted into blastomeres, then morula, then blastula, then further stages are gastrula. All these stages are comprising of the cleavage, and the formation of blastula is called blastulation. So during this cleavage, the blastula is formed. Now, when we are talking about this implantation phase, the 5th phase of the human reproductive system, that is implantation. Implantation means the blastula which is formed inside in the oviduct. After the early mitotic division from the zygote, it will converted into the blastula, and this blastula is now coming to the uterine structure or the uterine tissue for the further developmental stage. Here it is the endometrial wall of the uterus, and when the particular structure is coming out from the oviduct, here this is the blastula, it is going to attached with the endometrial wall of the uterus. So uterine structure having the thick muscular wall, the inner side of the uterine wall is called endometrium, and the blastula is going to attach with the endometrial tissue of the uterus. This process of attachment of the blastula with the endometrial wall is called implantation. So implantation is the attachment of blastula with uterine tissue. After the attachment of the blastula, it will further undergo several developmental stages and it will further develop into gastrula, then further embryonic stages. Next come to the sixth phase of this reproductive system, that is placentation. After the attachment of the blastula with the endometrial wall, it will come in intimate contact with that of the endometrium of the mother womb with the help of a particular layer that is called placenta, and the process of formation of the placenta is called placentation. Now, the blastula undergoes further development. It will converted into gastrula. So formation of gastrula is in the next phase, that is the gastrulation, where the gastrula is able to produce 3 germinal layers such as ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. From all these 3 germinal layers, the different organs of the body parts are developed. That is, the outermost layer is the ectoderm, the middle is the mesoderm, and the innermost layer is the endoderm. This formation of the germinal layers start from this gastrulation process. After this formation of 3 germinal layers, the further process is organogenesis. During this process, the different germs layer are able to produce different types of organs inside our body. Now, after the formation of all these organs, the fully grown baby, the total embryo, fully developed embryo, now ready to expelled out from the womb of the female body. Thus, that process of expelling of the fully grown baby or the fetus from the female body is known as parturition. So, parturition means expelling of fully grown fetus from the female body. That is called the birth of the baby or the birth of the female birth of the baby from the female body. A particular process which is only seen in case of human particular stage, that is called gestation period or the time period, that is from the fertilization up to the parturition. Starting from the fertilization up to the parturition, that time period is called gestation period, and that gestation period in case of human is approximately about 270 to 280 days or about 9 months. So, all these different phases are seen in case of human reproductive system. We have to go through all these phases, but before going to gametogenesis, we need to know about the different sex organs seen in case of male and female reproductive system. Before going to the formation of the different types of gametes, formation of the sperm and ovum, where these gametes are going to taking place or in which organ of the female or male body the sperms and ovums are going to produce? We have to know.